A key voice on the future of the Colorado River is pushed out by the Trump administration, what that could mean for the future of water in our state. Tenants use a new state law to sue their landlord for nasty conditions they say weren't fixed for years.
This case fundamentally is about public safety.
A current leader in Colorado's Republican Party is running for chair, offering hardline culture war messages.
Do you still stand by that? All parents should pull their kids out of public schools. Okay.
And a husband and wife team working day and night to keep their restaurant dream alive. Just the two of them. We'll meet them tonight on Next.
The long-simmering disagreement between Colorado and other states on how to manage water out of the Colorado River is supposed to be decided next year. Well, now the Trump administration just got rid of the woman who helped shape the rules of that river. Our Mark Salinger starts us off with that.
The Colorado River supplies 40 million people with water. It flows to 2 countries, 7 states, 30 tribes, and more than 5 million acres of irrigated farmland. But the river is changing.
Climate change has dramatically impacted the Colorado River, and we're seeing less flow in the river overall.
We spoke with Ann Castle on the phone. She's the former U.S. representative and chair of the Colorado River Commission. She was appointed by Joe Biden. In January, just 7 days after the inauguration, the Trump administration asked her to step down.
I think they were uniformly asking all of the political appointees to submit their resignations.
The commission helps determine how states that receive water from the Colorado River can use it. The current rules expire at the end of 2026. Federal funding freezes, cuts to the Department of Interior, and even canceled contracts in the name of government efficiency have caused concerns about the future of negotiations and the longevity of the river.
Well, I think it is causing massive consternation in the system, partly because the actions that we've seen from the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, particularly with respect to California water, make no sense.
For example, federal funding freezes are already impacting water conservation programs, according to Castle. When people save water, they're supposed to be compensated.
If there's no compensation available, it is much harder to find ways to balance the system.
Castle says the Colorado River has a math problem. We're using more water than Mother Nature is giving us. Solving that problem isn't easy, but it's key to life as we know it here.
We've seen at least 2 contracts that deal with the Colorado River, totaling more than $12 million, canceled by Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency within the last couple of days. One of them is an $11.9 million agreement that is intended to help with operational strategies for Lake Powell and Lake Mead. Both of those are, of course, critical reservoirs along the Colorado River. As far as we can tell, those contracts that are now canceled deal with environmental impact studies and coordinated management of those reservoirs, Kyle.
So, Mark, what's next?
We don't know, and even Ann Castle, who used to lead this commission, doesn't know, but she uses the word consternation, anxiety. That's what everybody is feeling right now, but regardless, they need to come up with a solution by the end of 2026, because that's when the rules expire, and there needs to be something between now and then.
Mark Salinger, thank you. Swing by the Colorado Capitol, you'll hear some very different ideas about how to save people money. Republicans in the minority have tried unsuccessfully to roll back government regulations and fees. Democrats in the majority say businesses are price gouging customers. Today, Dems in the State House passed a bill that would prohibit companies from increasing the price of so-called necessities, food, fuel, medical supplies. No more than 10% hike at any time if the governor's issued a disaster declaration. Governor can do that during natural disasters, pandemics, war, or in times of quote-unquote market disruption.
When a corporation says that costs are going up due to inflation or tariffs or bird flu, but is actually using those things as a smokescreen and raising prices to truly just pad their pockets, that is a deceptive trade practice, and that is price gouging. We have national and statewide reports that show that this is happening.
Democrats wanted the price gouging protections to be in place all the time, not just during government-declared disasters. They had to water it down to get Democratic Governor Jared Polis on board. Republicans were united in opposition. They pointed out that capping price hikes could hurt businesses that now need to raise their prices in order to account for President Trump's trade war tariffs with Colorado's largest trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China.
10%, depending on the market, is not all that big of a swing. And one of the folks that came to testify were the fuel industry, and they talk about how their prices can increase and decrease within a much broader range, even within the same day.
And right now we're looking at 25% tariffs on both of our top trading partners. If there's a cap of 10%, that would still mean there's a 15% spread that you wouldn't be able to recover.
This bill still has to get past the full Senate, then it would be on to the governor. Last year, the legislature passed another bill that limits price gouging. That was on rent after natural disasters. So we are watching a relatively new state law in action as tenants in Denver use a one-year-old law to sue their landlord. They say years of maintenance requests were ignored. This is coming out of one of the properties that was targeted in last month's ICE raids, where tenants blame out-of-state landlords for terrible conditions there. Let's bring in our Angeline McCall now for details on how this is working for these tenants. Angeline?
Kyle, you'll probably recognize the Cedar Run apartment complex as it's been covered in the news quite a bit since early February when ICE agents detained multiple people who were living there. But tenants say living conditions have been deteriorating long before then, with their lawsuit laying out, for instance, that security doors won't lock or shut, saying common areas, for instance, often have drug paraphernalia as well as human waste. At one point, the lawsuit says portions of the complex were without water and electricity. And just last year, the Colorado legislature passed a bill allowing tenants to take the action to county or district court if they feel their landlords are not providing safe and healthy housing. Two tenants filed a lawsuit saying the company has breached the warranty of habitability, and in turn, they filed a lawsuit with hopes that repairs will be made.
When the property was taken over by Gelt Ventures, they promised working doors, but that promise has been broken. I live here with my wife, our 3-month-old, and these broken promises have made my family and this community unsafe.
Members of Denver Metro Tenants Union at the Felix Apartments last year, during the last legislative session, passed a law that empowered tenants to take their landlords to court over breaches of the warranty of habitability. Today, tenants here at Cedar Run are using those tools.
We did reach out to the property owner, Gelt Venture Partners. They did not respond to our request for comment, but did tell the Denver Post they have recently spent $200,000 at the property for new doors and better lighting, as well as other improvements. Kyle?
Angeline McCall, thank you. I have work joy every Monday. I do, seriously, because I get to check in to see just how much you have raised through your latest Word of Thanks microgiving project. And this morning, I logged on to see that you have raised more than $35,000 in a week for the Center for Work, Education, and Employment, CWE. They've been in town for 2 generations. They help women and families in poverty achieve self-sufficiency, helping them to move from government benefits to good jobs in our community. Your microgiving campaigns, 5 years or so and counting, have brought in more than $14 million for nonprofits in every corner of our state. If there's a nonprofit in your community that's doing great work, let me know. We'll then go in, we'll check out their financial situation, talk to their leadership, and they could be featured in the future. Email your ideas to next@9news.com or text next 303-871-1491. A candidate to lead Colorado's Republican Party admits why she says extreme things.
Using the word pedophile, for example, I overuse it at times. Sometimes words that we use like that, it's to get attention on the issues.
I'll ask Darcy Schoening if that is a strategy to win in Colorado, as we kick off a series of conversations with the people who want to lead the state's Republican Party. And after decades in business, a husband and wife team are keeping their family's dream alive. There is no one but them, and they aren't giving up. We'll meet them next. Our next conversation is the first in a series with contenders to lead the Colorado Republican Party. Vote by Party Insiders happens later this month. Darcy Schoening from El Paso County leads special projects for the Colorado GOP, and she is the only member of current leadership running for chair. In many ways, Schoening is even more of a culture warrior than the current chairman, Dave Williams, the guy who called for the burning of all pride flags. Schoening wants trans people banned from jobs where they might interact with kids and wants all parents to pull their children out of public schools. And she acknowledged to me that some of her Trump-style rhetoric is designed to just get attention.
I think that it's easy to say the Colorado GOP is in shambles or any other GOP is in shambles, but at the end of the day, this is politics. There's a lot of strong personalities, and we have to be careful to not go out into the world and say, oh, it's in shambles. It's not. I mean, we're doing great.
You like current GOP Chairman Williams, like President Trump, use name calling as a political strategy, right? I mean, you've called former President Joe Biden a pedophile, you've called the mayor pro tem of Monument a terrorist, you've called the governor a communist, you've called the attorney general communist, you've called me a communist, which is fine because we get along. But why is name calling a winning political strategy in this state?
You know, I don't think it's always correct. It's not always a winning strategy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it helps us because, you know, you get that attention online, you get that media around you, and that, by and large, a lot of the time is what affects change.
You have called Aurora, Colorado, a third world hellhole, and called for armed civilians to round up the migrant gang members in that town. Walk me through how you think that would work.
Well, I think that Aurora has descended into chaos for a while. It does seem like since I made that call that things have gotten somewhat better. You know, we saw the Trump administration get involved. All kinds of entities are getting involved now, right?
The city that you referred to as a third world hellhole is actually Colorado's largest city run by Republicans.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you think they made of your call for armed civilians to come in and take out the gangs in their town?
Well, you know, some of the leadership in Aurora thinks very similar to me, and I think they were pretty done with the police in Aurora not being able to report on it. They were done with the way that the mayor was kind of hiding stuff. So when I made that call, it brought some attention. And as I brought up earlier, sometimes calls like that and sometimes words that we use like that, it's to get attention on the issues.
You can find my full unedited 25-minute conversation with Darcy Schoening from the Colorado GOP on the Next YouTube channel, or you can listen to it in full on the Next podcast channel. There we discuss her plan for the Trump administration to withhold some funding from Colorado in order to spring convicted felon Tina Peters out of prison. And we also go through which specific Coloradans she wants the Trump administration to put in prison.
If it's going to be Monday, it might as well be sunny and 72, and that's what we had today. 80s in southern Colorado. Yeah, there's been a little bit of wind that we've been dealing with out there, and that's created elevated fire danger. But even this hour, temperatures are still really comfortable in the 60s and 70s. If you didn't get a chance to get outdoors today, you'll get a chance tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday before a Friday storm changes things. Monitoring the wind over elevated terrain, and that's creating that high fire danger scenario. Red flag warnings continue for northeastern Colorado, western Nebraska. The storm we're tracking won't come in until the end of the week. It's this little center of circulation off the coast of Los Angeles. That system will come in. It's going to be a fast mover, a big wind producer, some mountain snow, and maybe some rain and snow for Denver, but it's headed for Nebraska and South Dakota really quickly, but definitely bears watching. So we'll continue to monitor the Friday storm, and you enjoy the weather for the rest of this week. And after that storm blows out, you've got a great weekend to look forward to. And hey, the Leprechaun is back. Next Monday is St. Patrick's Day.
The best coffee shops are community builders. A spot that has been a fixture in Denver for 20 years is closing, and the community came out to show their support in a unique way.
It just started off as a dream for me and my sister. We just kind of wanted to open a small little coffee shop. Hi, I'm Denise Durrani, co-owner of the Gypsy House Cafe in Denver, Colorado. The murals that we're covering up were done by friends that are artists. Today, we are trying to wrap it up. We're painting over the murals that are valuable to us that were done by friends. Like this mandala, my friend hand painted it. They were an expression of our identity, and like it was the personality of our community and what kind of people they represent, you know. It is my family because everybody that, you know, I've known over the years have become family. It was like my hub, my kids grew up there.
When we first opened Gypsy, I was 6. So I've lived a majority of my life in the Gypsy House community. My name is Olivia Simone. I'm the daughter of Denise, the owner of Gypsy House Cafe. I feel like the murals, it seems simple that we're just like covering random walls, but it's also metaphoric in the way that, no, you don't get us. Even if we don't open another Gypsy House, it's still gonna be with us and in the hearts of our community and in our art. The community coming shows that they're in support of no matter of whatever we do and whatever you guys wanna do. And so I think that means a lot. This has been like a really safe haven for me. It's a good place for me and my friends to connect and do art and express ourselves. And so I just feel like I don't know where we're gonna have a safe space like that in Denver, especially being a person of color. I'm just grateful for everyone that's supported us over the years, and there could be more in store, who knows? Just keep dreaming on, people.
I don't know where anywhere else to go or what to do. I just kept being here, keep it cooking.
You won't find them on the fancy restaurant week menus, but that husband and wife team is still cooking. They invite everyone to pull up a seat at the family table. Hey, a reminder, you can catch Next streaming each night at 6 p.m. on 9 News Plus. Next is now a podcast each weeknight, wherever you get your podcasts. There's a bright spotlight on the restaurants featured in Denver's Restaurant Week, but we're going to take some time here to highlight places that are off the beaten path, spots that will not be flooded with new customers this week. Like Jay's Noodle Star Thai on South Federal, where a husband and wife team are working together to keep their family business afloat.
No, I love cooking. I love eating, I love cooking. It's perfect that people show so much appreciation waiting on my food.
Sure, what would you like for today? I like to talk to people. Okay. Most of them are really nice to me, really patient, really nice. Thank you. See you, bye-bye.
So I want people to know that it doesn't come easy. It's always hard, yeah. I guess I don't know where anywhere else to go or what to do. I just kept being here, keep it cooking.
Before, not two of us, before have his family work here too. His brother think, no, I don't like the food industry. And his aunt and his uncle think it's too much work. The day he alone, so I step in and help him. Since that day, just only two of us. 24 hours together, yes. Can you imagine? We have one cell phone, we have one car, we share everything. So no secret between us.
Yes.
ปกติ2วันนี้3นะ We gradually adjust ourselves and customer know that, oh, we have to spend more time here and be patient and the food gonna come.
You could say that we cannot afford to hire people as well because how we run the business here. It's hard to hire with the budget that we got per month. Give us some time to spend time with the kids and we can manage it. We just kept doing what we love and I think it's a consistency and her smile. She got that magic, that's why I married her, I guess.
Soy sauce. Yeah. Drunken noodle. Okay, enjoy. Thank you. Yeah.
I think next viewer is going to beat a path to the door of that place. Jay's Noodle Star Thai, South Feds. You'll know the folks when you get there. Back with your feedback next. Mark writes in with feedback tonight to say, at least Darcy Shaning is honest and transparent on this. I like that. Name calling is sometimes an effective strategy. Roxanne disagrees. She says it's shameful anybody would think that name calling is a winning strategy. Just wrong. What's more infuriating is she admits it's about getting attention. And Dennis says, I just heard you say that it's okay for her to call you a communist. Why would you give her permission to call people names? Shame on you, Dennis said. Well, Dennis, let's be clear. I told her it was fine for her to call me a communist. I don't get bothered when people call me names for performative political reasons. It honestly says more about them than me. We'll see you next time.